Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So as all of you know, today we're gonna cover the book called The Creed of the Raziyayn, Asl Sunnah wa I'tiqad al-Din, Al-Imamain Abi Zur'a wa Abi Hatim Al-Razi Rahimahumullah. And their death is Abu Zur'a. He passed away 264 years after Hijrah, and Abu Hatim, he passed away 277 years after Hijrah. So that means both of these ulama are very close to the time of the Prophet ﷺ. Not to mention that also both of them are the students, direct students of Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal Rahimahullah ta'ala. So now you are getting the teachings, the pure teachings of the early Hanabila. You are getting a book that is authored by two of the students of Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal Rahimahullah ta'ala. And Abu Hatim and Abu Zur'a, both of them, their field was hadith. They were muhaddithin, both of them. They touched upon many other area as well, but their field that they were focused on was the hadith field. Right. So before I'm gonna read this book and we're gonna go through it together inshallah ta'ala, first I want to mention something about ijma. So this book is not authored by the opinion of Imam Abu Hatim and Abu Zur'a Al-Razi. This book is the book of opinion, the book of ijma of all the Islamic ulama and the fuqaha under the Abbasid Caliphate, under the Abbasid Empire, right? And as we all know, Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'ah, ijma is hujjah, right? When the ijma is brought to the table, there is no room for discussion. There is no room for disagreement. Nobody can say, well, look, there is another opinion there. Or there is no opinion. Ijma means all the ulama have agreed upon something. Why is this important? The Prophet ﷺ has answered you. Why is this important? Before we're going to get to the book at all, first we have to go through two hadith of the Prophet for the understanding, the pure understanding of what is ijma and why is this book very important and why I advise all of you to either have a piece of this book in your own house or the PDF of it, which I have it, and after the lecture I'm going to put it in the group so you all can have it, the PDF of it. Or the book is like 20 pages, it's very short and is the foundation, as the name says, Asl Sunnah wa I'tiqad al-Din, is the foundation of Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'ah. Yani if you're a Sunni, you believe in everything authored in this book, all of it. Right, let's get to the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, two hadith which I have prepared for this. One of it is from At-Tirmidhi, hadith number 2167, where Prophet ﷺ, he says, Allah will not cause my ummah or the ummah of Muhammad to agree upon misguidance. So the whole ummah, they cannot agree upon misguidance. So when they reach an ijma, that becomes hujjah alayhum, hujjah upon you, upon me, and upon all of us, right? The other hadith is from Musnad Ahmad, hadith number 2722-4. Prophet ﷺ, he says, I asked my Lord subhanahu wa ta'ala 4 things, and he granted me 3 of them, withheld 1 from me. I asked my Lord not to cause my ummah to agree upon misguidance, and he granted me that. This is granted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to the Prophet ﷺ, that his ummah, they will not agree upon misguidance. Ijma is infallible, ya akhwa. Ahl Sunnah, we believe that ijma is ma'soom, is infallible, is an infallible opinion. There is no room for a debate. Right. So we're gonna go through the book, and in the beginning, I'm going to mention to you, how do you know this book is the book of ijma? How do you know here Abu Hatim and Abu Zur'a are not necessarily speaking their own words, rather they are quoting the ijma? How do you know that? You get that information in the beginning of the book. It says, I asked my father, Abu Hatim. Here is the son of Abu Hatim who is speaking. He says, I asked my father and Abu Zur'a, and they are brothers, so he asked his father and his uncle, about the beliefs of Ahl Sunnah in the foundations of the religion, and what the two of them found the scholars to be upon. Yani I told them, what do you think and what did you find the scholars to be agree upon, the ijma of the stuff? In all the country, the whole country. And what they held as their creed from what they occurred. So they answered me. They said to me, we met the scholars of all the lands. The Hijaz, Iraq, Egypt, Bilad al-Sham, which is Syria, Jordan, Palestine and stuff, and Yemen. And from their belief was, the book starts with these notes, that the son of Abu Hatim, he asked Abu Hatim, and he asked his uncle Abu Zur'a, he says, what is the foundation of Ahlul Sunnati wal Jama'ah? What do we believe as Sunnis? And they said to him, we have traveled through the whole empire. We've been to Hijaz, to Iraq, to Egypt, to Sham, to Yemen, to all of it. And here is what all the ulama have said, what they have agreed upon, and there is no room for a disagreement or a discussion. Number one is about the Murji'ah. They have said, the ulama, Iman is speech and action. It increases and decreases. The Murji'ah do not believe this. Right? Now Murji'ah as a sect does not exist anymore, as you all know. But you can detect it within the people. The liberals, the modern Muslims. They do believe, look, it says, Iman is a speech and action. They do believe that Iman is not action, it's only speech. If you utter it by your mouth, then that's enough, then you have Iman. You don't need to do any amal for you to be a mu'min. هذا غلط. This is false. This is not the opinion of Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'ah. This is the opinion of the sect Murji'ah. Now, if the people do not label themselves as such, is because this sect does not exist anymore. But the belief of this sect is still widespread, unfortunately, between the Muslims. And also about Iman being increases and decreases. That means Ahl Sunnah, we believe Iman increases and decreases. It will go high and it will go down. Sometimes you have a lot of Iman, sometimes you have low Iman. Right? This is something the Khawarij rejected. And they believed Iman is always at its peak. And it does not decrease or increase. The next quote is about the Jahmiyyah. Right? It says, Abu Hatim and Abu Zur'a, or better said, all the ulama under the Abbasid Empire, all the ulama of the Muslimin, they say, the Quran is the speech of Allah, uncreated from every aspect. Why is it important? It says from every aspect. Because the Asha'ira of today, they say we are not Jahmi. We do not believe that Quran is created. We believe only the recitation of Quran is created. Now you are still a Jahmi. That's why it says the Quran is the speech of Allah. It's uncreated from every aspect. Even if you say the Quran itself is uncreated, but my speech, my recitation is created, then you're going against this because it's from every aspect. To explain this furthermore, why would I explain this furthermore? When it's been explained. It's been explained by Imam Al-Hafiz Abu Bakr Al-Ismaili, who passed away 371 years after Hijrah, from the classical ulama. He said, the Quran is the speech of Allah. It's not created in whichever manner. Whatever is true, the recitation or of the reciter and its pronunciation, its memorization in the hearts, its recitation on the tongues, its writings in the Mus'haf, in every case it is not created. Now we don't care about your analogy, where you want to go to. You want to say, no, but my recitation only created, or my this, or no. None of it is created. All of it is uncreated, as mentioned here by Abu Bakr al-Ismaili. He says everything about Quran is not created. And the one who said that the pronunciation, the recitation, the pronunciation is created, intending by that the Quran, then he has spoken with creation of the Quran. If he says no, my recitation is created, then he also believes Quran is created. That's what he's saying here. This is mentioned in Kitab al-I'tiqad Ahl Sunnah, page number 4, narration number 19. Going to the next point is about refuting the Qadariyah. It says, the pre-decree or the Qadr, it's good, and evil is from Allah. The Qadariyah, they didn't believe this, right? They didn't believe in the Qadr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They believed everything just happens randomly, right? So that's what it says. The Qadr, it's good and it's evil, both of it is from Allah. But ya akhi, the bad, the evil of it is also from Allah? Yes. Then Prophet Muhammad said, Allah, he made a qalam and he wrote everything down before the creation. So everything you are going to do is already planned. It's been written down, right? The bad of it as well. Something I want to add into this is a hadith from the Prophet ﷺ. The other hadith I mentioned was from top of my memory. I didn't plan that, but this one I have planned it. I'm going to read word by word. It says, Prophet ﷺ said, Iman is that you believe in Allah, the angels, the books, the messengers, and the last day. And that you believe in the pre-decree, it's good and it's evil. Both of them. You cannot say only the good of it may be from Allah, but the evil of it is not by Allah. No. All of it is planned by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This narration is in Sahih Muslim, narration number 8, and Sahih Bukhari, narration number 4777. Barakallahu fikum. Now the Qadariyah, they also don't exist as a sect anymore. They are also extinct, just like the Murji'ah. But the belief of the Murji'ah, you can find its traces among the people. But as for the Qadariyah, you cannot find its traces among the people. This sect is fully demolished. Allah Azza wa Jal has destroyed this sect and it does not exist anymore. Quote number 4. It refutes the Rawafid and the Nawasib. Both of them in one quote. Pay good attention, huh? The best of the Ummah. This is the opinion, the ijma of all the ulama under the Abbasid Empire. They said the best of this Ummah after its Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is Abu Bakr radiyallahu an. Then Umar radiyallahu an. Then Uthman ibn Affan radiyallahu an. Then Ali ibn Abi Talib radiyallahu anhu. May Allah be pleased with them. And they are the rightly guided caliphs. Now the Nawasib, they don't believe this. They curse Sayyidina Ali and Hussein. Astaghfirullah. We have seen them around, ya akhwa, haven't we? Here and there. Some of them don't go to the extreme. They just say Ali was not the 4th Khalifa. But some of them, they do. They curse him and they call him a kafir. Right? And I have seen some random conversation among some Sunnis bringing nonsense into the table and saying Zayd ibn Haritha is mentioned in the Quran and bringing some hadith of Prophet ﷺ has said he is the most beloved to me, and say, yeah, he is the best man after the Prophet ﷺ. And then you look at the website the brother has brought the screenshot from. Before the name of Abu Bakr, it says Hadrat Abu Bakr. So you know it's a Pakistani website. And you just sit there shocked. You're like, Ya akhi, this is the ijma of the ulama. Abu Bakr, then Umar, then Uthman, then Ali. Now, regardless of Zayd bin Haritha mentioned in the Quran or not by name, regardless of who and who, Zayd bin Haritha is mentioned in the Quran by name, ya akhwan. It is. It's true. Where does it say that makes him the best man after the Prophet ﷺ? Although he died before the death of the Prophet ﷺ, but where does it say for that reason he becomes the best? Right? So it's very simple and clear. Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, and Ali. This is the stance of Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'ah. And then it continues. Then who? He will tell you who. And then the 10 whom Allah's messenger, named and bore witness that they will be in paradise, and his speech is the truth. And then is the 10 promised Jannah, right? And after Ali, there comes Talha and Zubair, and the list goes on to the 10th one. Radiyallahu anhum ajma'in. And that's about the leveling of the Sahaba. Going to point number 6 is again about the Sahaba. They are talking about the Sahaba a little bit. It says, and to invoke the mercy of Allah for all the Sahaba of the Prophet ﷺ, and to withhold from speaking about the disputes that occurred between them. Withhold, ya akhwa, withhold. But Siffin, but Jamal, but this, but that. There is no but. Why Khalid ibn Walid radiallahu anh, he got angry and he rebuked or cursed one of the Sahaba who was promised Jannah. What and what and what? This is dispute normal between the brothers. They fight sometimes. They might rebuke sometimes. They might fight sometimes. Stay away from mentioning their mistakes. Withhold. Stay away from speaking about their disputes. Didn't Allah Azza wa Jal say in the Quran, this is the nation that has been passed away, and Allah will not ask about their problems and about their stance, and about Allah will not ask you that. This is a nation that has been passed, that is from the past, it's from before. Allah will not ask you about their actions. Believe me, trust me, when you die and you go to Yawm al-Qiyamah, Allah Azza wa Jal will not ask you, who do you think is right in the battle of Siffin, Ali or Muawiyah? If you don't answer me, I'm not going to let you in. What is this maskhara? Right? Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, he said, do not revile my companions by the one whose hand is in my soul. If one of you were to give the likes of the mountain of Uhud in gold, it would not reach a handful or even half a handful of what they have given. In Sahih Bukhari and Sahih Muslim. Bukhari 36:73, Sahih Muslim 25:40. What they have prepared in paradise is more than whatever you could have ever achieved from the big level of Sahaba compared to the low level of Sahaba. All of them, radiyallahu anhum ajma'in. Who are you to sit here and call Muawiyah radiyallahu anhu Amir al-Mu'mineen radiyallahu anhu a munafiq, like this engineer guy who called himself a sheikh, disrespecting Sahaba, and called himself worse than that, called himself from Ahlul Sunnati wal Jama'ah. That's the funniest part. Something I haven't also planned, but it just hit my head, from my memory. They asked Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal rahimahullah ta'ala about the battle of Siffin, who is right and who is wrong. He turned his back. And all of you who are Arabs, you know what this means, huh? When you ask an elder something and the elder turns his face or turns his back. You know this culture, huh? Meaning turn his back or turn his face away in disgust. And he says, I do not speak on this matter. They are the nations that have been passed. Right? Now we have, of course, later scholars who have analyzed this and discovered this, and they said who was closer to the truth, which is explained by Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah ta'ala, Ibn Hajar, and many other ulama that they have said based on proof, the ijtihad of Sayyidina Ali radiallahu anhu is more closer to the truth. But the earlier scholars, when this question was asked to them, they turned their back. They didn't respond. So what is this? Is this something that I'm gonna be questioning in Yawm al-Qiyamah, yani? Will I sit there and Allah want to take a test from me about the battle of Siffin? May Allah have mercy upon all of us. The other hadith I want to read is Prophet Muhammad saying, when Allah completed the creation, this hadith is actually for the next quote, hold on. Yeah, it's finished about the Sahaba. Now, quote number 7. And that Allah, quote number 7 is about where is Allah, right? Why is this important, ya akhwa? Because the Asha'ira, they say you take your religion from Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab, you are a Wahhabi. Or the Mubtadi'ah, The rest of them, or some of them, they say you take your religion from Ibn Taymiyyah, you are a Taymiyi. Huh? Then what is this I have in front of me about where Allah is? This is not Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab. This is not Ibn Taymiyyah. This is Abu Hatim wa Abu Zur'a Al-Razi. They lived 1,000 years ago, ya Habibi. Where is Sheikh Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab here? How do I take my religion from him where I have a classical book in front of me that is 1,000 years old? Look what it says. And that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is over his throne, above the arsh. He is separate and distinct from his creation, just as he has described himself in his book and upon the tongue of his messenger, without asking how. The last sentence got important, huh? The last sentence buried them, put them in their grave where they belong, because they don't deserve to live. Imam Malik Rahimahumullah ta'ala, he said, in the death of an innovator, there is victorious bestowed upon Islam. Why does it say without asking how? Why doesn't it say you have to ask how and you have to make it into a metaphor and make it a majazi? They made Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to a metaphor, ya akhwa. They made him to majazi. They said he is nowhere. He is a concept in the mind. He exists without a makan. That means he is nowhere in reality. Rather, a concept in your brain. The quote says, we believe Allah is above the throne, and the last sentence says, without asking how. Ya mubtadi'ah, without asking how. Why you ask how? Why do you ask how? When you have a classical book, not from Sheikh Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab, not from Ibn Taymiyyah, from the students of Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal, from the 4th generation, they say we said, and the ijma of the ulama, not we, the ijma of the ulama said we believe Allah is above the throne, and we didn't ask how. We didn't say metaphor, we didn't say like this, we didn't say like that. We affirmed it as it was. And for that I have some hadith I've prepared here. Prophet Muhammad, he says, when Allah completed the creation, he wrote in his book that is with him above. The book is with him above his throne. My mercy has preceded my anger. This is in Sahih Bukhari 3194. And the most famous one, you all know it, I'm just gonna read it because it's good. Allah's Messenger ﷺ said to the servant girl, the slave girl, where is Allah? She said, above the sky. He said, who am I? She said, you are the messenger of Allah. So he said, free her. She's a believer. This is Sahih Muslim 536. And the last hadith, I think I didn't say the source. That's Sahih Bukhari 3194. So here, did the Prophet ﷺ said, no. Yeah, slave girl, come here, actually. Let me teach you correct aqidah. Don't say Allah is above the throne only. Say Allah is above the throne, and that's a metaphor that means Allah is all powerful. If you brought for me such a hadith, I would become a Jahmi like you. I have no problem. If you brought for me a hadith, like the one I have in front of me, that says, when the slave girl said Allah is above the throne, Prophet ﷺ stopped her and said, you are right. He's above the throne, but remember, not literally, rather symbolically and metaphorically and majazi. Him being above the throne means he's powerful. That's a metaphor, not that he's actually above the throne. And the slave girl said, oh, okay, Ya Rasulullah, thanks for teaching me Tawheed. I can go now. If you bring for me this hadith, I will become a Jahmi like you. But you don't have. You don't have any dalil. That's why we are called Ahlul Athar, the people of proof, Ahlul Sunnah, the people of Sanad. And you are the people of Aristotle, Aflatun, and the Greek philosophers. And your own scholars affirm that in their book. They call them Imam and Ulama. Astaghfirullah al-Azim. Going to the next point is about seeing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because the Mubtadi'ah, they don't believe they can see Allah either, actually. They believe it's just you can feel him, or you can imagine him, or whatever the case would be, even though it's in the Quran, by the way. It says Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be seen in the hereafter. The people of paradise will see him with their eyes, not with their mind or with their imagination, or with their eyes. You will see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with your eyes if you are Ahl Jannah. And you are Ahl Jannah if you are a real Muslim from Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'ah upon the manhaj of the Salaf al-Salih. Even if you are the biggest fasiq, and I will get into that later, it's in this book as well. It says, Prophet ﷺ said, when the people of paradise enter paradise, Allah will say to them, is there anything more that you wish for me so I can give you more? So they will say, have you not brightened our faces, entered us into paradise and saved us from the fire? What could we ask more? Then Allah will remove the screen and they will not have been given anything more beloved to them than looking at their Lord. The Prophet ﷺ said, for those who have done good is the best reward, and even more, looking at Allah. This is Sahih Muslim, narration number, hadith number 181. There is another hadith, actually, it's from my memory, where the Sahaba, they ask radiallahu anhum ajmain to the Prophet ﷺ. They say, will we see Allah? He says, you will see him more clear than you can see the moon and the sun, and you will have no trouble in seeing him. Zero. And they still, after all this evidence, will come and say, no, but maybe you can imagine him, or maybe you can, whatever the case would be, akhwa. Yani, the other day I was reading the explanation of Imam Al-Ghazali regarding seeing Allah, and the way he explained it, like he was like, you will imagine him and you will this and you will that. And now we do believe Imam Al-Ghazali repented. Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah ta'ala, he brought this in Majmu' al-Fatawa about his repentance. But before he repented, man, he was like, yeah, you will not see him. You will seeing him means knowing him. So you will know him, and that means you can imagine him. And it says with your eyes. No. Seeing is a metaphor for knowing. So when you know him, that means you can imagine him, and you will have a clearer form of him in your brain, and he will appear in a way that he has designed, but it's not him, but in a way it's him. Yani he goes on, the ta'wil he makes, it just makes zero sense. May Allah forgive him for his repentance. The next point number 11, is about hearing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They will hear his speech, however he wills and as he wills. You will hear the speech of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You will hear him. His speech is not majazi, it's not fake, it's not false, it's not metaphor. It's a real speech which you will hear. Where is the evidence behind that? Of course the evidence is ijma', but since the mubtadi'ah, they don't want to take ijma', no problem, we go to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He says, there is not any one of you except that Allah will speak to him on the day of judgment, and there will not be between Allah and him an interpreter. Sahih Bukhari 60:39 and Sahih Muslim 10:16. He will speak to you and you will hear him. I'm sure one of you would remember the narration from one of the Salaf, one of the ulama of the Salaf, that says, if you're standing with next to somebody who says Allah doesn't speak, his speak is not real, he doesn't speak, if there is a well next to you, throw him in the well. Most befitting for such a person. Now, regarding the next one, is about the bridge. It says the bridge is true and real. And you all know which bridge he's talking about, right? The bridge where you have to pass by to get into paradise, and if you fall, you will go into hell. So this is for the people who say, no, the bridge is also a metaphor. It's not metaphor. And here we have Prophet ﷺ speaking about it. Prophet, he says, every nation shall follow whatever they worshipped. Only this nation will remain along with its hypocrites. Then the bridge will be erected over the hellfire, and I will be the first to cross it, and the intercession will be permitted. The people will say, "Oh Allah, save us, save us." It was said, "O Allah's Messenger, what is the bridge?" He replied, "A void into which a person is likely to slip. Upon it there are claws, clamps, and hooks like the thrones found in Najd, called Sa'dan. The believers would then pass over it in a blink of an eye, like lightning, like wind, like a bird, like the finest horses and camels. Some will escape and be safe. Some will be liquorated and let go. Some will be pushed into the hellfire." Sahih Muslim 183. And nowhere did it say in the hadith, but you know, the bridge is actually not a real bridge, by the way, not to mention. It is a metaphorical bridge. Allahumma musta'an. Allahumma musta'an. The next quote is about the scale. We believe that is real too. If any mubtada'a is listening to this and is asking about the mizan, the scale, yeah, we do believe it's real. It's not metaphorical now. The scale is real. It has two pans. The weighting of the good and evil deeds of the servants is true and real. You akhwan know what he's talking about, right? The scale, which is mentioned in the Quran, the mizan, the scale that it has two sides, and your bad deeds on one side and your good deeds on one side. And if you are lucky, inshallah ta'ala, your good deed will outweigh the bad deed and will become, the more scale will become on that, inshallah ta'ala. And we believe that is real as well. The lake that our Prophet has been honored with is true and real. Yet the lake is real as well. Just to mention that right there. The lake of the Prophet. What is the lake of the Prophet, ya akhwa? From Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'ah, you should know this. You should know about the lakes of the Prophet. What is it? We'll go through it now. From a hadith, Prophet ﷺ mentioned. Allah's Messenger said, there is a lake, a hawd, for every Prophet, and they compete to see which one of them has the most people coming to it. Like a competition, friendly competition, right? I hope that mine will be the one with the most people coming to it. This is mentioned in Tirmidhi, narration number 2443, which is about the lake of the Prophet ﷺ. Wa Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'ah, we believe that all the prophets in Yawm al-Qiyamah, they will have a lake in paradise. They will have a lake, a hawd. And in another narration, Prophet ﷺ said his lake is as big as from Yemen to the north, to, I don't remember the other country he mentioned, but to Sham, from Yemen to Balad al-Sham, right? So all the prophets, they will have a hawd, and they will compete about it, who will come to their hawd, to their lake, to drink more water. And it's real as well. It's not a metaphor. About what I told you, akhwa, about every Muslim going to Jannah, it's mentioned here. The intercession is true, and it is true that the people who worshipped none but Allah will be taken out of the fire due to intercession. What does this mean? This is a promise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have given every Muslim in the Quran. If you are a Muslim, you will eventually go to paradise. Now you might go to hell for some sins you have done, you haven't repented for, right? You might go hell for some stuff, for some sins, for haqqun nas, for whatever the case would be, from big, small, whatever it is. But you will eventually make it to paradise. It's a promise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala making in the Quran for the Muslim. As the hadith goes like this. This is Sahih Bukhari 7110 and Sahih Muslim 193. Prophet Muhammad described his intercession. For those of you who don't know what intercession means, intercession is when somebody wants to fix somebody between somebody, right? So intercession means, for example, I come and I say, Akhi, forgive this person. He's a good man and he did something wrong. I do intercession for him. I intercede for him. I say to you, you say, okay, akhi, I'll forgive, because you say I'll forgive him. That is what intercession is. So intercession will be done by the Prophet ﷺ. Allah's Messenger described his intercession on the day of judgment in his saying, I will ask for my Lord's permission and it will be given. Then he will inspire me to praise him with such praises as I do not know now. So I will praise him and fall prostrate before him. Then it will be said, O Muhammad, raise your head and speak, for you will be listened to. Ask and your request will be granted. Intercede and your intercession will be accepted. I will say, O Allah, my ummah, my ummah. Allah will say, go and take out the hellfire all of those who have iman in their heart equal to the weight of a barley grain. So Allah will say to the Prophet ﷺ, I accept your intercession. Go in and grab the one from your ummah who even have a small drop of iman in their heart. As small as a grain. How small is a grain, ya akhwa? This is how merciful Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has been to us. He says you will be in paradise for eternity, forever. Even if you had a small seed, a small drop of iman as big, as small as a grain in your heart. Subhanallah. Subhanallah. Subhana Rabbi al-Azim. Allah Azza wa Jal, He's so merciful. Going to the next point is about obeying the rulers. A big shotgun to the Khawarij. He says, we do not hold it permissible to revolt against the rulers. And we do not fight in times of fitna. And we hear and obey those whom Allah has placed as the rulers over our affairs. And we do not remove ourselves from obedience to them. Sami'na wa ata'na. Follow the rulers and we listen to them. And Allah has placed them over us. Why does it say Allah has placed them over us? This is Allah, He says in Surah Al-Baqarah, ayah 30. He said, I appoint for you rulers on earth. And they will cause bloodshed and will cause, what was it? Let me remember the ayah. They will cause bloodshed and fisq. And then the angels reply, you make people like that, rulers like that while we praise you. Allah Azza wa Jal says, I know what you do not know. So there is a hikmah in whatever Allah Azza wa Jal does. May Allah Azza wa Jal guide the rulers and make sure you remember the rulers in your dua, because if you are granted your dua, it will only affect you. If the rulers are granted your dua, it will affect the whole ummah. May Allah protect us all and give guidance to the rulers. Now, there is something also, a hadith I've prepared for this one. It is a hadith from the Prophet ﷺ. He says, the Sahaba asking the Prophet, what do we do if we have rulers over us who demand their rights, yet they withhold our rights? Prophet said, listen to them and obey them. Upon them is their burden, and on you will be your burden. Listen to them. Sahih Muslim 1847. The next quote, quote 25, it says, we follow the Sunnah and the Jama'ah, and we leave off contradiction, differing, and splitting. This is very important, ya akhwa, because sometimes you have seen some liberals and some modern Muslims, they will say, don't split, don't say Shia Sunni, don't say, why do you say that, why are we splitting? Ya Jahil, this is not a splitting. This is differentiating between haqq and batil, falsehood and the truth. Splitting is when you want to split between Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'ah. That's what splitting is. We follow the Sunnah and the Jama'ah, and we leave off contradiction, difference, splitting. We do not split. They split from the main body. It's them who are splitting, not us. We do not split. We follow Quran, Sunnah based on the understanding of Salaf al-Salih. Whoever says otherwise is splitting from the main body, from the Jama'ah of the Muslimin. This is explained further by Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah Rahimahumullah ta'ala in the book Al-Istiqamah, volume 1, page 42. In this book Al-Istiqamah, Ibn Taymiyyah, he says, innovation is coupled with deviation, just as the Sunnah is coupled with the Jama'ah. So innovation will make you deviate from the main body, from the Sunnah. And Sunnah is the opposite of it. Sunnah is coupled with the Jama'ah. It will unite you. So it is said that Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah, the people of Sunnah and the united body, just as it is said Ahlul Bid'ah wal Firqah, the people of innovation and deviation. So we have the Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah here, who are the Jama'ah, and we have the Ahlul Bid'ah wal Firqah, who are the people of Firqah, who are the people of different deviations. It's them who are deviating from the main body, and then they want us to unite with them. And if we don't, that means we are deviating from the main body. How does that work? We are Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'ah. Whoever does not follow Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'ah based on the opinion of Salaf al-Salih, then they are Ahlul Bid'ah wal Firqah. They are the people of deviation. They are the one deviated from the correct path, and we will not unite upon batil. They split it from us. We did not split from them. So it's them who should stop splitting and stop making fitna. This point is also touch upon the Khawarij. So the jihad will remain in its place, right? From the beginning, yani from when Allah sent His prophets, it says, to the end, to Yawm al-Qiyamah. It will remain from the time Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent His prophet to Yawm al-Qiyamah. Why is this important? Because he mentioned something. Behind those in authority from the Muslim rulers, there is nothing that cancels it. And likewise, it is said regarding Hajj. He says, jihad is only applied under the authority from the Muslim rulers. Khalas. Now, if you want to make a group and you want to call it Al-Qaeda and you want to call it Hizb al-Hadha and Hadha and Hadha, this is not the way of the Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'ah. Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'ah is not a place for groups. Jihad is well established in Islam. It exists. Offensive jihad as well. Yes, we affirm this. It is only done under the authority of a Muslim ruler. Nobody else. And this is the ijma of the ulama. Barakallahu fikum. Next point about the Murji'ah. The Murji'ah here is a couple points about our opinion, our view on the sects. What do we think about sects? What is the view of Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'ah about different sects? So the first one is about the Murji'ah, are misguided innovators. And I already spoke to you all about the Murji'ah. They don't exist as a sect anymore. It's just a modern Muslim you will come across. He has irja in him. But the view of Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'ah on the Murji'ah, on somebody who is from this sect, is that they are misguided innovators. They are mubtadi'ah. Our view on the Qadariyah, the one who I spoke to y'all earlier about, the one who reject the Qadr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is that they are misguided innovators in general, but some of them are kuffar. Which one? And whoever among them denies that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows what is to occur before it takes place is a kafir. Whoever amongst them denies, he doesn't affirm, he denies that Allah knows something before it happens, that person is a kafir. Because the Qadariyah, there were some of them who said Allah does not know something when it hasn't happened yet. He knows it after it has happened. Not all of them believed it, some of them did. The one who believed it were kuffar. The one who said the qadr of Allah doesn't exist, they were mubtadi'ah. But the one of them who said the qadr of Allah doesn't exist, but that means that Allah does not know what is to happen. He knows it once it has happened. That person is a kafir يخرج من الملة فدم الحلال. The next point is point 31. It says the Jahmiyyah are kuffar. The view of Jahmiyyah is very short and simple. Jahmiyyah are kuffar. And the next point is about the Rawafid, Ahlul Jahim. It says the Rawafid have rejected Islam. The Rafid, the rejection is for rejecting of Islam. They have rejected Islam. And the next point, 33, is about the Khawarij. It says the Khawarij shoot out of Islam. They shoot out of Islam. Now the majority of ulama have said that this means, and they believe that they are mubtadi'ah, and some scholars, they said they are kuffar. Walakin the ijma here says they shoot out of Islam. Now it's about how you want to analyze this. The majority analyze it that they are mubtadi'ah. Whoever claims that Quran is created is a kafir, with the kufr that takes him out of the fold of Islam, the Jahmiyyah. And whoever doubts the kufr of such a person from those who understand this matter, then he is a kafir himself. We are very strict on this. Why? Because this is the start of all the bid'ah. This is the start of everything, as Ibn Taymiyyah Rahimahumullah ta'ala explains to you. All the rejection of the attributes of Allah started with this. By rejecting the Quran. By saying the Quran is not the attribute of Allah. It's not the speech of Allah. Allah doesn't have a speech. When they said that, that was the beginning. That was step number 1. Then they took a step number 2. Then they took step number 3 and 4 and 5 and 6. And they went on and on. And Ibn Taymiyyah, he brings for you here. He says, they intend by their saying the Quran is created, that Allah does not speak or talk. So first they said Quran is created. That means Allah does not speak or talk. That He did not say anything and does not say anything. Through this, first this, after that, through this, they negated all the attributes of Allah, such as His knowledge, His hearing, His seeing, and the rest of what has been revealed in the divine book. This is in Bayan Tablis al-Jahmiyyah, volume 2, page 81. So by negating the attributes of speech for Allah, the Jahmiyyah opened the door to negate all the other attributes as well. Quote 35. It says, whoever doubts in the speech of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and withhold regarding it due to doubt and saying, I do not know whether it is created or not created, such a person is a Jahmi. The one who says, no, I don't want to comment on it, he's a Jahmi. That's why he doesn't want to comment on it. As for the one who withhold in the affair of Quran out of ignorance, the one who is ignorant on it, who is not knowledgeable on it, and who withhold on it, then he is thought and accused of innovation. He is upon innovation for withholding. But he's not to be declared as a kafir. So here basically he's talking about udhr bil-jahl. He says, if you see somebody who says, I don't know, then don't call him a kafir, right? Now he is upon a bid'ah, he is upon an innovation, because he doesn't say Quran is uncreated, but he's not a kafir because he doesn't know. He's talking about udhr bil-jahl here. Point 36, he says, whoever says, my recitation of Quran is created, or the Quran with my recitation is created, is a Jahmi. Who are these people? These are the modern day Asha'ira. The Asha'ira say this. The Asha'ira say, we don't believe Quran is created. We believe the recitation of Quran is created. And the ijma of the ulama in the book of Abu Hatim and Abu Zur'a Al-Razi says, whoever says my recitation is created, not the Quran itself, that person is still a Jahmi. That makes all the modern days Asha'ira from the Jahmiyyah. The book is finished regarding the ijma of the ulama. And the last parts, it's some of the saying of Abu Hatim himself. Now all the ijma that was mentioned is over. And here his son, he says right now the opinion of Abu Hatim, right? It says here, Abu Muhammad, the son of Abu Hatim, then said, now the conversation is over, right? Back to an hour ago when we started, Abu Muhammad, the son of Abu Hatim, asked Abu Hatim, remember? He said, Abu Hatim and Abu Zur'a, tell me about the foundation and the usul of Ahl Sunnah based on the opinion of all the ulama. And they said, based on the opinion of all the ulama, now they're finished. The conversation is over. And Abu Muhammad, all this time, he was listening to them. Now Abu Muhammad speak again. He says, then I said, I heard my father say. Now my father speaking only. The opinion of the ulama of all the empire is finished. Now it's Abu Hatim speaking. Abu Hatim, he says now about every sect, what they call us. So how to be aware of them. He says, this distinguishing sign of the people of innovation is that they revile Ahlul Athar. The way you detect them, the Mubtadi'ah, is that they revile, they disrespect Ahlul Athar. They disrespect the Ahlul Sunnah, the real Ahlul Sunnah, the Salafis. Right? The Ahlul Athar, the Ahlul Hadith. How do they disrespect? By name calling. The modern name calling is like Wahhabi. Bazi, it was in England, I think back in the 90s. They called people Bazi after Ibn Baz. So he says this is their sign. And he will name for you one by one what they call people. Before I go to that one by one what they call people, I want to say something from Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal rahimahullah ta'ala. He said, the sunnah with us are the narrations, the athar from the Prophet ﷺ. The sunnah explains the Quran and is a guide to the Quran. And this is mentioned in Al-Jami' Al-Shuru' in Al-Jami' Al-Shuru' Sunnah, page number 63. Al-Jami' Al-Shuru', my bad. It says, the next point, where it starts from the 6, it says, the distinguishing sign of the Zanadiqa is that they label Ahlul Sunnah as the worthless ones, and they seek to invalidate the narrations. The Zanadiqa, the heretics, that's what they call us, the worthless ones. The distinguishing sign of the Jahmiyyah is that they label Ahlul Sunnah with the term Mushabbiha. That's the term they call us, even the modern day Ash'ara, they call us that. The modern day Ash'ara, don't they say Ibn Taymiyyah was a Mushabbih? Don't they say Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab was a Mushabbih? Don't they say Ibn Uthaymin and Ibn Baz were Mushabbiha? Yeah. Who says that? The Jahmiyyah says that. So they are Jahmis. Right? Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah ta'ala, he said, Ahlul Sunnah describe Allah with whatever He has described Himself, and with whatever Allah's Messenger described Him with, without any distortion or negation, without saying how His attributes are, and without likening Him to the creation. So if Ibn Taymiyyah by his own words saying, I don't liken my Lord to the creation in Majmu' al-Fatawa, volume 5, page 26, it's not unjust for you to accuse him of tashbih. Ya Jahmi. And the other point is about what the Qadariyya calling us. The distinguishing sign of the Qadariyya is that they label Ahl Sunnah with the term Mujbira. Mujbira, what is this? I'll tell you what this is. Or Salih al-Fawzan will tell us. It is mentioned that the Jabriya are the followers of Jaham ibn Safwan. They said a person has no choice and no will. He is compelled to do what he does without a choice, like a tool in the hands of a person moving it around, like a feather in the wind, or like the deceased in the hands of the one washing him. So the Jabriya went to the extreme in the affirmation of the will of Allah, and they negated the will of the servant and his choice to act. Right? So that's the explanation of what they call us. Why do they call us that? Because we believe in the qadr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So they accuse us of believing that a person doesn't have a choice. We never said that. We believe that they have a choice. We believe that we have a choice. We believe I can choose. I chose to do this lecture today for the ikhwa. And the ikhwa chose to come here and listen to me. They could have chosen something else. We just believe it's the qadr of Allah. It is planned by Allah. Doesn't mean you don't choose it. And they slander us by calling us the mujbira and saying that we do not believe a human being has a will. Don't believe that. The quote I mentioned y'all for Salih Al-Fawzan explaining the word is mentioned in the book Sharh Al-Manzuma Al-Ha'iyah, page number 143. And then the Shia, what do they call us? The distinguishing sign of the Rafidha is that they label Ahl Sunnah with the title Nawasib. They call us Nasibi. And they are the real Nawasib. As it says in Al-Kafi, the chapter of marriage of Kulthum, the daughter of Ali Kulthum was graped. Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq, he says, it was a grape we suffered. The 12 Imams suffered that this daughter of Ali and the sister of Imam Hussein, as they say, she was graped, ruined. And Ali, the Shia Ali, didn't do anything about it. He said, Omar, please, do not cut off my hand. You can grape my daughter. Go ahead and revile her. And Omar grabbed the daughter and left. Who is the Nasibi? We believe they married with such a respectful and honorful marriage. We believe Omar and Kulthum, they were in an honorful marriage. But you believe he raped Kulthum and Ali did not do anything about it. He was helpless. Omar said, by Allah, if you don't give me Kulthum, I will accuse you of theft and cut off your right hand. Then Al-Abbas, in the Shia fairy tale, went and spoke to Ali. Ali got scared for his hand and gave away his daughter for by Allah Azza wa Jal. On the Rab of Kaaba, if somebody came to me and said they want to abuse my daughter and grape my daughter, or they want to cut off my hand on the Rab of Kaaba, I will raise my hand in front of them. I say cut off my hand and leave my daughter. That makes me better than the Shia Ali. That makes me better than the Shia fairy tale Ali. Because I saved my honor over my right hand. The Shia Ali didn't save his hand. Didn't save his daughter, from his right hand. He said, no, please leave me alone, Omar. Omar, the big boss. You stop wahi from Allah. You are the most powerful. Wahi wanted to come down, you stop it. You didn't let the Prophet write his wahi. So please don't cut off my hand. You can't have my daughter. What is this maskhara? And he also carried the door that weighed 1 ton. Get a life. Whatever the case would be. Regarding the Murji'ah, the next point, the distinguishing sign of the Murji'ah is that they label Ahl Sunnah with the term opposers and reducers. Why do the Murji'ah call us that? Because reducing, right? So we believe Iman increases and decreases. So they believe that we are reducers because we believe that. So they call us, disrespect us by that word. There is no name that befits Ahl Sunnah except one. And it is not possible that Ahl Sunnah are gathered under these false titles. So Imam Abu Hatim says, forget these nonsense names they call us. We are not from any of these names. Only we have one name, Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'ah, and it is impossible for us to gather under this title. A brother texted me and said he wants me to mention the source in Al-Kafi for the marriage of Kulthum, just as I always mention the Sunni sources. No problem with that. I'm going to mention that. But before I mention that, it's not because that if it's Shia source I don't mention. No, it's only because I only mention the sources which I have planned. Sometimes I remember things out of my memory. There were also many Sunni sources where I remembered from memory hadith that I didn't mention the source of because it was off memory. When it's off memory, I don't mention the source because I don't have the source memorized. When it's planned on a note, then I will mention the source. But as for the marriage of Kulthum, I have it right here. Al-Kafi, volume 5, book 3, chapter 23, marriage of Kulthum. Al-Kafi, volume 5, book number 3, chapter 23. Hadith number 1, it says that Imam, what's it called? Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq said regarding the marriage of Kulthum, has said, it was a grape we suffered. I'm not going to say the word grape. You guys all know what it means, right? So we don't get banned, right? Grape meaning somebody doing it by force, yeah? R-A-P-E. So the 12 Imams suffered. This hadith is authenticated Hasan in Mirat al-Uqul by Allama Baghr al-Majlisi, volume 20, page 42. And the other hadith I mentioned is the next hadith, the same page and the book number and everything, hadith number 2. So Al-Kafi, volume 5, book 2, chapter 23, hadith number 2. It is mentioned here that when Umar proposed marriage with Kulthum, Amir al-Mu'minin said, she is just yet a child. He, Umar, has said that he saw Al-Abbas and asked, what is wrong with me? Is there something wrong with me? So Umar was angry that Ali rejected. He, Al-Abbas, said, what is the matter? What's going on? Why are you mad? He replied, saying, I proposed marriage before the son of your brother for his daughter, but he rejected my proposal. I swore by Allah, I will shut down Zamzam, leave no honor for you without being destroyed. I will prove Ali guilty of theft through 2 witnesses and cut off his right hand. Al-Abbas went to Ali and informed him of what Umar had said, and then asked him to authorize him to settle the matter. So Ali agreed like the youth. This is also authenticated Hasan by Allama Baghr al-Majlisi, volume 20, Mirat al-Uqul, page 42, the authentication. Right. The next quote is about, it's basically finished. There is just a last comment from Abu Muhammad, the son of Abu Hatim. He says, I heard my father, Abu Hatim, and Abu Zur'a commend with boycotting the people of innovation and deviation. They were very stern, harsh in their view regarding this matter, with the utmost harshness, and they would forbid writing books based on opinions without resources to the narrations, to hadith or athar. And they forbade sitting with the people of theological rhetoric, with Ahlul Kalam. Many times, ya akhwa, I've said, don't sit with them, don't sit with the Mubtada'ah. It's not my opinion, it's the opinion of the Salaf. And from looking into the books written by the people of Kalam, also don't read their books. They would say the person of theological rhetoric will never prosper. So this is the last piece of nasiha and the last piece of advice given by Abu Hatim and Abu Zur'a Al-Razi. Stay away from the Mubtada, stay away from their books, don't sit with them. That is not permissible. Barakallahu fikum. Be stern and harsh with them. If they are sincere and they want to learn, have a respectful manner with them, good approach with ihtaram, especially when your family is upon that, your cousins is upon that. Give them good da'wah and good nasiha. If they want to argue and if they want to oppose and if they want to debate, leave the majlis. It's bid'ah to debate. There is no reason behind it. It's just argumentation. Leave the argumentative people, leave the quarrelsome people, and leave them in their misguidance. Speak with somebody who is reasonable, who is looking for dalil, who wants to learn, and teach him what he wants to learn with respect. The moment he gets a heated conversation and it's about winning and losing, leave the majlis, inshallah ta'ala. And the last part of the nasiyah, that was the most important one, they forbade sitting with the people of theological rhetoric. Barakallahu fikum ya akhwa. Inshallah you benefited from this lecture, from this great classical book of the 2 students of Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal Rahimahumullah ta'ala. May Allah Azza wa Jal bless you, and may Allah Azza wa Jal give strength to Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'ah, and may Allah Azza wa Jal keep you firm upon Quran Sunnah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.